Hello gang, right, we're going to do a slightly longer targeted individuals tarot reading for YouTube exclusive. So this is going to be a specific reading, so it's not a collective reading. So what this is in regard to, as many of you who actually follow me know, the mind, body, spirit community, spiritual community by and large, when it comes to the event circuit especially, is controlled by the witchcraft community, specifically covens, and it's a very intricate network. There are people who aren't directly involved but still act as henchmen. There's people who will lie, cheat and steal to try and get in the coven. And beyond that, kind of peeling back the layers, it's all about this control from this dark energy. So we're going to do in regard to my situation, a specific, what was the intention, or how did, what's been kind of playing off in the background in the past, what's going off at the moment, and how it's going to pan out. So this is going to be in the format of a fully loaded reading, so we're going to get plenty of cards out. I'm going to try not to describe the cards too much, so if you are having a fully loaded reading, I will kind of describe the cards in case you're new to tarot, because that's my general style, but it's going to be a little bit more free-flowing as we go through. So what was the intention, or what was the long-term plan, basically? I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Right, interesting. Right, so we start off with the Knight of Swords. So swords are where we think words we use. He says they're not going to describe it. Knight's formation. So what this feels like with the Knight of Swords, there was some information or news that came to, I want to say, a small collective, the properly tapped in ones, and that took, in the Eight of Swords in the reverse, the restriction off, took the blindfold off, took the veil off, okay? And then the Chariot cards, right, let's push forwards, let's go, let's get the ball rolling, okay? Right, okay, so with the Ten of Swords here, because obviously this talks about either being stabbed in the back or carrying self-limiting beliefs, I feel like there was an attempt to take me down, basically, because we've got the body face down with swords in its back. Well, we know that happened, okay? I'm going to kind of read this like we don't know what's been going off. The reason for this was Six of Wands, Wands fire action. So as we know, story of this card, some great war going off. You'll notice my throat chakra is going as I'm doing this reading. Great war going off. This village have announced local battle. They've won. They've returned back to village. They're celebrating. They know the great war is yet to be won, but they know by celebrating the little wins along the way it boosts morale of the troops. So this coven realised that I'm not even where I need to be yet, and regardless, I'm plodding forward. I'm plodding. Another distraction, dog barking. There'll be a dog out at the front. Yeah, there's a dog coming past. There are no coincidences. The Matrix likes to throw these things in for distraction. So plodding forward, seeing that the battles are being won, moving forwards. Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles, earth, money, finance, non-financial wealth. Queen's feminine energy. Now this can talk about nurturing something. Okay, I'm going to carry on. I want to get some more cards out, because with these targeted individual readings, it can be like bit of them, bit of you, da da da. Ridiculous. Right, 9 of Pentacles, so reflection card. Now, I feel like the intention here was to get me into an energy of thinking that I'd done everything that I could do and being kind of proud with my lot. All the while, Queen of Cups in the reverse, having that, how do I put it, undercurrent of emotion running through that we're not satisfied. 7 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so I'm going to have to go imposter syndrome, stepping out of imposter syndrome. Do I want to go that way? No. Sneaky deceptive behaviour. I'm not sure yet. Sneaky deceptive behaviour coming to light, or stepping out of imposter syndrome. I'm just struggling at the moment to decide whether this is how it played out, because obviously I know how it played out, or if this was the intention. I was hoping it'd be more kind of intentional based, to be honest with you. It's just give us some clues of what was going off. Let's continue, and we'll like I say, once I've got all the cards, I'll try and tie it together. See what's right. 4 of Swords. Periods of rest or being too mentally horizontal. Now, it's rare that I go this way, but this card can sometimes indicate death, because it's sarcophagus. I'm never really going to go there with a client, don't get me wrong, but when I'm doing like a TI reading, it can sometimes indicate that. We then got Strength card, so finding that inner strength or having too much pride. 9 of Cups, another 9, reflection cards, looking back, being proud of our achievements on an emotional level. Let's continue. Right, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So Ace is bringing in new energy, not starting something new. Right, so this is intentional based. This is intentional based. So some of it kind of played out, some of it kind of didn't. So we'll get all the cards out and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So Ace is bringing in new energy. Now what I'm drawn to is we've got the nice garden down here. Beyond the archway is a mountain, so it indicates going on to bigger things. So this is in regard to not going on to bigger things. Fool card in the reverse. Starting a brand new cycle, taking a leap of faith in a new direction. Okay, so reverse position, holding off on doing that, not doing it. Stuck energy. Right, Knight of Pentacles, Knight's forward motion. Now, Knights don't have the knowledge or experience of the kings and the queens, more so than the pages. This Knight's about an offer, it's coming in. Now, the intention of this offer was to make me believe that this was going to lead to 10 of Cups. Cups, water, emotions, 10's completion cards. I call this Happy Families card, couple on arm in arm, kiddies dancing in the rainbow. So it could indicate something in regard to there was an intentional offer to give this kind of dream or illusion of having that happiness and emotional security I was looking for at the time. Overall outcome card. Star card in the reverse. Okay. To stop me from stepping into that star potential. Now, bear in mind at the time when all this was playing out, I was on the rise. I was on the rise on TikTok. We'd come in the top 10 subscription battle. My follower count was going up. I was being described as an asset on the circuit. They didn't like it. They didn't like it, right? Obstacles or blockages. Page of Wands in the reverse. So the intended obstacle or blockage here was to stop me, because what you got to remember at the time is as well, I'd had my life blown up, I'd become a widower, and I'd adopted this mindset whereby in the past I'd lived my life in a very kind of rigid, structured, autistic way, which was one of the reasons why I suffered with anxiety so much at the time. And coming out of something so traumatic and tragic, I went to myself, right, outside of work, because I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing, it's my divine calling, the world's kind of my oyster now, and I'm just going to kind of take opportunities as I can. And I feel that they could see me in this energy. You know, being in that energy allowed me to meet new people and live a little bit more and stuff like that. And I feel like the obstacle or blockage would have been not doing that, removing any blockages. King of Swords in the reverse, right? So The reason why this didn't go the way they wanted to was because I accepted and understood that somebody was a narcissist. Now, having grown up with somebody with sociopathic tendencies, once it clicked that this is what was going off, I went, that's shit. You know what I mean? And I didn't overthink it. Did I go digging? Yes, I did, because I'm a Sigma personality type. So I knew on a more so on a kind of like spiritual level that there had to be something in this, and that's why I went digging. It wasn't to find answers in regard to that connection at the time. It was in regard to what is this bigger picture about. Okay, so let's just reassess this. So I think that the Knight of Swords was somebody picking up on some kind of information about me, and that took the blindfold off to the situation, and these guys went, right, it's go time. Because I think this was way before. I think this first part, this first row, was before I became a widower. I think this first row was as soon as I started on the event circuit. The plan was to go forth and put self-limiting beliefs in me, and because they could see that I wasn't anywhere near I needed to be with my potential yet, but I was going in the right direction. With the Queen of Pentacles there, it was designed to keep me in this people-pleasing energy, and think I'd kind of gone as far as I could do, just a reader, just a divination reader. And then the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. I think that was somebody trying to subtly manipulate the situation. I'm going to say imposter syndrome, not quite good enough, not worthy enough, and then remaining mentally horizontal. Okay. With the Strength card, because it can talk about pride, having too much pride, keeping yourself stuck. And in the Nine of Cups going, well, I've had a good run, I've had a good time, I'm pleased with what I'm doing, and not aiming bigger, not taking that leap of faith into the new cycle. There was then, or there was supposed to be, depending on how you want to look at it, a knight's offer. And as always, knight's offers are not good enough. But it was dressed up to go, this is your happy ever after, and take me away from that star potential. Okay, so that was kind of the plan, the original plan. So let's fast forward to now, and we'll see what's going off with this network as of today. I'm recording this as of the first day of the Chinese New Year, Year of the Fire Horse, and I'm convinced that all these wrongdoers, all these haters, all these backstabbers are going to get their karma. And anybody like me who has had total dedication, belief, knowing in source, we're going to get our dharma. That's what I believe, that's what I know. Okay, so what's kind of going off in the background? So I don't think this is going to have a direct effect now. I think it's more a little bit of kind of psychic spying in regard to what's going off on the other side of the fence. Right, so we've got the Empress in the reverse. So this can talk about pulling energy back. Okay, I'm gonna say this is myself. Okay, because I've always said that, you know, I grew up with being more comfortable in my feminine energies. I was triggered into my divine feminine energy first off, and I feel like this represents the withdrawal of my Empress energy from probably a number of people. Right, they're stuck. 4 of Cups in the reverse. Sorry. So figure under the tree, staring at 3 cups, stuck, bored, jaded, fed up, cloud, handcuffed, no opportunities. So that because my energy, because my protection has now been withdrawn from a lot of people, they're now in this energy of, well, feeling stuck, maybe we ought to have a look at other opportunities. Moon card. Right, so the Moon card talks about the unknowns. It's when we feel like something's off and we can't put our finger on it. or scrabbling around looking for the piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Because it's a Coven based reading this, it could be that they are turning more towards moon based magic, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, okay, interesting. So we then got the Three of Cups. Now this card can talk about a Coven, power of 3. It can talk about cheerleaders and supporters. We then got the Temperance card, followed up by the Devil card. So what this feels like is, I'm gonna stick into my guns and saying that I'm the Empress, right? I've pulled that energy back. So they're now a bit stuck. So they're going, right, we need to shift the perspective. So combining the Moon card, the Three of Cups, the Temperance and the Devil, what it feels like to me is that they are trying to manipulate somebody who's probably a little bit more on the lighter side, to come in with this energy of, oh look, I'm trustworthy, I'm an angel, but running behind it is that devil energy, that dark energy. Now, on my path, I've come across as a lot of good, honest people, okay, and they have so easily been manipulated by devil energy. Now, I don't, and I have never, and I don't think I will ever believe in possession, because for me it doesn't quite work like that. What actually happens is this dark energy can manipulate and infiltrate people's thought processes. It can take control. You know, when we're talking about entities, specific type of entities, the best way I can describe it is they're a bit like ticks, and they attach and they feed you negative thoughts, putting yourself down, and they feed off your energy in return. So it's not entered your body, but it's attached, it's controlling the narrative, because remember, everything is energy, okay? And it feels like this person who would be seen as a bit of a love and lighty type is being controlled in the background by that devil energy. I could be wrong, we'll see. Right. Six of Cups, Three of Wands, Two of Cups in the reverse. I think with those cards coming out there, this is more what the plan is. Okay, so obviously the Empress has already happened, so the shift's going to this. Let's use some moon magic. Let's get together our little coven. Let's manipulate somebody who's more in kind of angelic energy, if you want to call it that, with our devil energy. The Six of Cups has something to do with questioning emotional balance and trying to get me to walk away from my Two of Cups, my divine counterpart. Well, that sure as shit ain't happening. Right, so let's continue. Right, not surprised to see the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse there. So the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse can talk about frustration, grinding away, trouble with work. Well, we all know that, okay? Five of Swords in the reverse, trying to get me to mentally back down. Me at the front, two people there, backing down, giving in to what other people want. Now, we then got the Emperor. So we've got the Empress and the Emperor. The Emperor's falling on top of the Two of Cups, which is falling on top of the Devil card, which is falling on top of the Moon card. So for me, it feels like the next phase of the plan, some of this might have already happened, who knows, is to try and cause questioning, doubting my relationship, and then trying to send somebody in Emperor energy or false divine energy. Now, on my path over the last year and a half, I've come across two people. Nothing's really ever happened, just chatting. But for me, they've clearly been manipulated by this dark energy. They've come in under this false narrative of being a divine counterpart, and inevitably they showed their colours. Now, I've always had extremely high standards since stepping into my power, and red flags and stuff like that, nah, not doing it. You know, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Right. Anyway, I'm extremely happy. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, trying to send in a false divine. Okay. Page of Cups, but it's a Page of Cups energy, right? Some kind of. Because what I've noticed on my path is that when it comes to spiritual people, when you're trying to unpick some greater mystery, they come in with these little breadcrumbs. Right now, I was kind of semi-dating somebody. Didn't even go that far. Back start of last year, so 2025, and somebody came in and was, you know, oh. Wary, blah, 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 blah. Got into my head. And they come in with this like knowing. They know something. They get a feeling about something. Their guides have told them something. And all they ever do is give you this BS little cups offer. Okay. Now, that's designed to think that you're getting your sun card. Okay, now I can't tell you for why, but I've had this slight running theme pop up with what's going on with the greater situation here, where I can't help but feel that these people want me to try and have a child with somebody. Now I know that sounds insane, but the sun card keeps popping up and it indicates birth of something. Now, when we look at what's going off in the Epstein files and what they're doing to these babies and these children, is there something tied into that? Who knows? Who knows? Let's continue. Right, so the plan is, or was, because this might have already played out, thinking I'm getting a sun card, but it's keeping me in Two of Swords. Stuck, blindfolded, and then reassessing Ace of Cups. What's going to make me happy long term? Overall outcome card. Ace of Swords, changing the long term mindset on the whole situation. Obstacles or blockages. Four of Wands in the reverse. So 11-11 card, make a wish. Okay. The obstacle or blockage here is an attempt using devil energy, using somebody coming in under the guise of temperance energy and emperor energy, to think that what I currently have isn't going to lead to my happy ever after, which I know is complete bullshit. Removing any blockages. Judgment in the reverse. Okay, so what this is saying to me is, don't have any worries. These people are going to receive extreme, heavy judgment by source. So yeah, what this kind of feels like is, because I think that this is already kind of happened. If I'm honest with you, I think that spread one was kind of earlier on, a couple of years back, leading up to about 2 years ago. And I think this is what's been going on since. Okay, trying to throw me off, affecting my work, sending somebody in this kind of controlled emperor energy under the guise, under the illusion that was going to lead to a sun card. Okay. Now the funny thing is, the reason why I mention about childbirth is that a lot of people know my story. Most of my attackers have viewed my content, especially my early content, because when I started off on TikTok, the first couple of weeks I was doing content talking about my experience becoming a widower and love and stuff like that, and they were very aware that I used to talk about having an anxious attachment style. Well, that was attempted to be used against me. Yeah, and because these people know that my late wife and I were attempting to have a family, I think that these people think or thought that that was my main goal and driver, that I wanted to find somebody to have a family with. Now for me, family isn't about having kids. I'm very much of the mindset of if it happens, it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not my main driver. My main driver is my mission from source. My main driver is protecting my partner. And I think that these deluded fools have gone off something that was a plan 4 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, and still think that that's what I want, despite that being the old version of myself. Their plan has been about the old version of me, not the new version of me. Okay? So let's go on to how this is all going to pan out. Right, last knock and a shuffle, and we'll have a look. I should say, if you want a fully loaded targeted individuals, just pop it on the comments, and I'll kind of do the reading in that style. It's not a problem. Right. More distractions. Right, so how's things going to pan out? Right, so 5 of Pentacles, so there's some feeling left out in the cold. High Priestess. I want to use the phrase divine intervention, okay? Tapping in more to ethereal gifts and abilities, psychic abilities, intuition. 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. It's either about breaking a karmic cycle, this one, or making a choice, I feel. I could be wrong, but we'll see how it goes. Right, King of Wands in the reverse. So this is toxic masculine energy. I feel this is more to do with the greater collective Coven, and they've been triggered into their further into their toxic masculine energy, because there's no way of getting around it. Covens are basically, bar a couple where they have a couple of men in, which they just control, are women, but they're women in their toxic masculine energy, you know. Hierophant in the reverse, it's either blocking a path forwards, a spiritual path forwards, or breaking away from some kind of tradition. 6 of Pentacles, financial energetic balance. Let's continue. Right, so 9 of Cups in the reverse. So potentially not giving up on something, realising there's something else that can be done, or staying in an old stagnant energy that needs letting go of. 7 of Swords. Okay, I feel this is more potentially sneaky deceptive behaviour. Well, it has to be, because I don't have imposter syndrome. So I think it's more sneaky deceptive behaviour going off in the background. Wheel of Fortune, shift in energy. Okay, shift in energy. The wheel's turning. Okay. Right, Justice in the reverse, followed up by the Magician in the reverse, followed up by 3 of Swords. Okay. I'm gonna say this is more about the attackers, if I'm honest with you. So they're not going to get the justice they think they're going to get. They're going to come downfall. Their magical abilities are going to be taken away, and it's going to not only feel like an emotional knife through the heart, sword through the heart. It's also going to be a mental sword through the heart. Okay, let's continue. Right, Page of Pentacles, so small offer leading to 8 of Wands, new opportunities, pick up in pace, fast-paced motion. Right, Six of Swords, going in a new direction, some sorrow attached to it. I'll tie this together when I've got all the cards out. Two of Wands, making a new plan moving forwards. Overall outcome card. It's not wanting to play. There we go. Three of Pentacles. Okay, moving on to something to become part of a collective that has the same long-term vision and goal. Obstacles or blockages. King of Cups in the reverse position, so I need to be wary of emotional manipulation along the way. Removing any blockages. Queen of Swords in the reverse. Right, okay, I feel like these are both warning signs. I feel like there's somebody in their masculine energy who's going to attempt to emotionally manipulate the situation. Queen of Swords in the reverse is about just being aware that the rumours, gossip and lies are going to continue. So I feel like with the Five of Pentacles, because I feel like this kind of flits about a little bit. Okay, so Five of Pentacles, feeling left out in the cold, still being a little bit untrustworthy of people, but using divine guidance, intuition, etc. to push forwards. There's going to be a karmic cycle or a choice that's made. Okay, a karmic cycle that's broken or a choice that's made, and that's going to trigger these people further into their toxic masculine energy. Now, they're not in Emperor energy though, so they're not as strong as they think they are, okay? Hierophant in the reverse, I feel like that's breaking away from some kind of tradition, breaking a cycle, okay, to bring in more energetic, possibly even financial balance. Nine of Cups, I'm going to say that's me being proud of my efforts, achieving something by bringing in that financial balance, but not being smug about it. Seven of Swords, the sneaky deceptive behaviour is going to continue, but there's going to be an energetic shift. For these people, justice is going to come down on them. They're going to lose their magical abilities and it's going to feel like a sword in the heart. Okay? I'm going to give myself a little bit of an offer to push forwards. That's going to open up the opportunities. I feel like the Six of Swords, I do feel like someone or something's going to get left behind, because I feel like this King of Cups in the reverse, Queen of Swords in the reverse person is going to reveal themselves as part of that Three of Swords energy. Okay. So a little bit sad that somebody yet again has caused some havoc, some trouble, making a plan moving forwards, and then ultimately working towards a collective of individuals with the same long-term vision, cracking on with things, doing what I am supposed to be here to do, helping people change their lives. So that for me, you know, it's as predicted really. These people can't get what they want. They can't get away with this stuff. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. When you are here for a mission, a purpose, a role, you are going to be divinely protected. And again, the best thing that they can do is accept that their plan failed, and move on. Find their peace, find their happy. Okay? So there you go, that's a bit of psychic spying, targeted individuals, reading in regard to what's going on for me in this mass network. Okay? But like I say, if you want to unpick your situation, standard psychic spying readings, 25 quid, 2 spreads. You, like I say, you can have it fully loaded. Just put targeted individuals or psychic spying in the notes, and they come under the same day guaranteed recorded readings. So there you go. Watch out for covens. Karma is coming. May the odds be ever in your favour. Ta-ta.